You can go out and do whatever stupid deals you want to do, the most ridiculous buyouts in the world, and we want to be careful. You'll get a total pass. You'll get a pass. Give us our jerseys back. It's our birthright. We deserve it. And maybe you should just sit out and listen. Good afternoon and welcome to Juck on Bucks, where I bring you my favorite college football show. Today I wanted to get into just a brief segment here to go over one last time, and it's the last time I'm going to say anything about it. But there is a narrative going around college football, and I mean it is everywhere. Yesterday I was listening to an SEC podcast, and they're talking about this particular thing like it's a fact, and everybody knows it. When in fact, it's totally wrong. Okay, it's actually the exact opposite. And the narrative is that Ohio State is going around outspending everybody, and it's all based on the transfer portal class they brought in. So, because we regurgitate so much crap we hear in college football, it's absolutely rampant, and one of my least favorite things about the sport, that nobody actually goes and looks at anything. They just hear something and regurgitate it. I want to educate you on this, so you don't have to go looking at the numbers yourself. This is an absolutely false allegation. Yes, money matters. Absolutely. It's always mattered in college football. It's how blue bloods became blue bloods. Success begets more money, begets more attention, and then more money comes, and we get more success from the more money. We remember the facilities building boom 10 years ago, where we were all in a big arms race over facilities. Why? Because facilities bring in more recruits, which brings in more success, which brings in more money, which brings in more success. Of course, money matters. But let's go over this transfer portal class and this silly allegation that Ohio State is trying to buy a national championship. And yes, Ohio State, just like every other blue blood, tries to put as much money forth as they can to get every advantage they can. There is nothing new there. Absolutely not. What's new about Ohio State is the first 2 years of the NIL, they absolutely were horrible at it. Artificially held back by the athletic director, Gene Smith. This year, that's not the case. The folks have had enough. The boosters have had enough. Gene Smith did not want to relinquish those donations coming into the athletic department and encourage them not to divert that money over to NIL. Well, they had enough after a third loss to Michigan and said, we're diverting this money over to NIL. So NIL booms. The fans say they've had enough. They contribute more. NIL booms. The major NIL collective gets a competitor that Gene Smith endorses. They don't like that. They ramp up their campaigns to the max. NIL booms. So all of this, yes, it's all true. But let's go over this transfer portal class and the reason that everyone is accusing Ohio State of this. And listen, I don't care about this allegation as an Ohio State guy. Like, I care about facts and truth, right? Like, if this were the truth and Ohio State went out and brought in 23 transfers like Texas A&M did, then I would be like, yeah, okay, this is the name of the game. And it is the name of the game. And I don't befault anybody for trying to maximize every advantage under the rules that they can. Not even Tennessee for going out and paying $8 million for Nico. I don't care. Like, that's just what it is now. You know, you either play ball or you get left behind. And I'm not getting left behind. We're not getting left behind at Ohio State. That's just what it is. If you don't like it, fine. But let's go into the facts, because like I said, facts matter. So, the major recruiting services rank the transfer portal classes, and I would like you to hear what they have ranked Ohio State's transfer portal class for this year. 247, with the highest ranking for Ohio State's transfer portal class, has ranked them at number 8. On 3, has ranked the Ohio State transfer portal class number 21. Rivals has ranked the Ohio State transfer portal class at number 16. So we got an average far outside the top 10 for Ohio State's transfer portal class. Ohio State has brought in 6 transfers. Let's go over a few peripheral teams that we know don't really matter, but here's some numbers on a couple of the teams that have brought in a little bit of a higher number. Texas A&M, 23. Louisville, 26. Colorado, 23. South Carolina, 20. Indiana, 22. Arizona State, 23. None of those teams matter to anybody listening to this, I don't think. But obviously, those aren't in Ohio State's league. Let's talk about some teams that are actual contenders, actual playoff contenders, teams that actually have advantages and money to spend. and let's see where Ohio State stacks up with them. Ole Miss, obviously a playoff contender, a team that'll come in, top 5 for a lot of people, maybe just outside it for some. 17 transfers, and we're talking high-quality transfers now. Ole Miss brought in an excellent haul of transfers. Oregon, obviously, we're looking at a top 5 team for everybody this year. 11 transfers. Florida State, we know Florida State raided Alabama when that happened with Nick Saban. 15 transfers for Florida State. Oklahoma, heading into the SEC, they bring with them 11 new transfers. Washington, 10. Miami, 9. USC, 11. Florida, 11. Tennessee, 8. Auburn, 9. The lowest number on that list of transfers brought in, Ohio State, Penn State, and LSU. And I wear this shirt today as a tribute to LSU for doing it the right way, like Ohio State. They filled a couple positions of need, and they didn't just go out and bring in a bunch of guys to replace guys on their team. Every guy Ohio State brought in was to replace a roster spot that needed help, okay? That's not what happened at these other places. They're bringing in guys to upgrade talent, to sit somebody on the bench and bring somebody else in over them. It's not what Ohio State did. So if you thought that before you watch this, now you know the truth. And you can quit being an uneducated college football fan who just regurgitates bullshit you hear. And one last thing. Ryan Day's quote about $13 million was a quote that was 2 years ago, June of 22. Look it up. Has nothing to do with this year's transfer portal class. So if you're running around regurgitating that figure that I read Ohio State spent $13 million on this transfer portal class, you're really looking ridiculous because that's not the case. So I wanted to share that with you all today, and I hope that everybody who's saying that watches this and doesn't just get angry and try to figure out reasons why Ohio State is actually, dig your heels in. Just realize you were wrong, okay? You were wrong. It's not true. I just gave you the truth. So knock it off and fight back against the idiots and educate the ignorant because we have too much of it in college football. I think we can all agree on that. Juck on Bucks out. Please subscribe.